There is a sound you never forget once you've heard it. A small metallic clink as the lid swings open. The rasp of a thumb rolling across a flint wheel. And then the flame steady, stubborn, leaning into the wind but never letting go. Maybe it was your grandfather's. You remember the weight of it in your palm, heavier than it looked. The smell of lighter fluid on his hands. The way he could open it and light it in one motion without ever looking down. The chrome was worn smooth where his thumb had rubbed it for 30 years. Millions of pockets carried that sound. Almost nobody knew where it came from. A small town of brick streets and oil derricks tucked into the mountains of northern Pennsylvania. This is the story of how the Zippo lighter was made and the town that stood behind every single one. Forever, in the 1960s, a Zippo was not just a lighter. It was a companion. It rode in the pockets of truck drivers, factory workers, salesmen, and soldiers. It lit cigarettes on front porches and campfires in the rain. It was passed across bars between strangers, and its click was part of the soundtrack of American life. In the movies, a detective never lit a cigarette with a match. He used a Zippo, one-handed, eyes never leaving the suspect. And by the middle of the decade, the lighter was traveling further than ever before. In Vietnam, young American soldiers carried Zippos through the jungle. They had them engraved in street stalls' names, dates, hometowns, prayers, and jokes too dark to repeat. For many of them, it was the most personal object they owned. A piece of home that fit in a breast pocket. Some of those lighters stopped bullets. Most just stopped the loneliness for a moment, one flame at a time. Every one of them, no matter where it ended up, had started its life in the same place. Bradford, Pennsylvania, population about 15,000. Bradford was an oil town before it was a lighter town. In the 1880s, its hills were forested with wooden derricks, and its refineries never went cold. By the 1930s, the boom had faded, and that's when a local businessman named George G. Blaisdell changed the town's fate. He had watched a friend struggle with a clumsy Austrian lighter that worked well but looked terrible. Blaisdell redesigned it, a rectangular chromed case, a hinged lid, a windproof chimney around the wick. He named it after another invention he liked the sound of the zipper. And he made a promise that no company had ever dared to make. It works, or we fix it free. Forever, no receipt. No questions. No time limit. By the 1960s, that promise was being kept inside a plant on Barber Street, in the heart of Bradford. From the outside, it looked like any other mid-century American factory. Brick, steel windows, a modest sign. Inside, it sounded like a hailstorm on a tin roof. Punch presses, hundreds of strokes a minute, stamping lighter cases out of long ribbons of brass. The presses hammered day after day, forming the case bottoms, the lids, the inside units. The air smelled of machine oil and hot metal. Workers fed the presses with the calm of people who had done the same motion 100,000 times. Each case then met its lid at the hinge station. 5 tiny knuckles of metal rolled together around a pin thinner than a matchstick. The hinge was the soul of the lighter. Get it wrong, and the lid would wobble or sag. Get it right, and you got the click, that crisp, clean snap that Zippo owners knew like their own heartbeat. Workers tested it by feel. Open, shut, they could hear a bad hinge the way a piano tuner hears a sour note. In the plating department, racks of cases descended into tanks of chrome and nickel, emerging with the deep, wet shine of a new car bumper. Polishing wheels spun with cotton buffs, and workers pressed each case against them, turning it in their fingers until the surface held a perfect reflection. Then came the insides. A chimney with exactly 16 holes, punched to swirl the air and shelter the flame. A wick woven with strands of copper wire so it would stand up straight and burn true. Cotton batting packed into the case to hold the fuel, a flint tube, a spring, a small brass screw, a rayon felt pad stamped with the words every owner eventually read, "For best results, use Zippo fluid." Women at long benches assembled the units by hand, their fingers moving in small, exact patterns. Insert, press, thread, seat, test. Every finished lighter was struck at least once. If the flame hesitated, the lighter went back. Then, each one was fitted into a black and gold box, guarantee card on top, and stacked for shipping. From one street in one small town out to the entire world. What most people never knew was what happened when a Zippo came home. Because they did come home by the thousands. Every week, packages arrived at the Bradford plant from everywhere on Earth. Lighters crushed by trucks, lighters pulled out of house fires, lighters that had been to war and back. Inside the plant was a department the workers called the repair clinic. Technicians opened each package, examined the patient, and fixed it. New hinge, new insert, new lid, whatever it needed. No invoice was ever sent. Blaisdell insisted on it until the day he died. If a lighter was too far gone, the company replaced it and often mailed the old one back too, because they understood something accountants never would. A man doesn't want a new lighter. He wants his lighter, the one with the dent from Okinawa, the one his father carried. The workers in Bradford understood, because in Bradford, everyone knew someone at Zippo. Fathers and daughters worked different shifts on the same floor. The company threw Christmas parties for the whole town, and when the orders surged, the presses simply ran longer into the night, their rhythm echoing off the hills. Time, of course, kept moving. The decades after brought filtered cigarettes, then fewer cigarettes, then disposable plastic lighters sold 3 for $1 at every gas station. The world decided that some things didn't need to last forever. Factories across Pennsylvania went dark steel, glass, oil, one industry after another. Bradford's population drained away year by year. And yet, on Barber Street, the presses never actually stopped. The company refused to leave, refused to outsource the lighter, refused to break the promise. But the world that had made the Zippo essential to smoke-filled diners, the soldiers' pockets, the front porch evenings, that world faded like chrome under a thumb. The lighter survived. The era it belonged to did not. Walk through Bradford today, and you can still hear it. Faintly, the town is quieter now. The oil derricks are museum pieces. Many of the old storefronts stand empty. But somewhere in a drawer, in almost every house in America, there is still a Zippo. Pick one up, feel the weight, open the lid, and listen. That click was tuned by a worker in Bradford who checked it by ear, the way their mother did before them. The flame still leans into the wind and refuses to go out. 60 years later, the promise still holds. It works. Or they fix it free. Some companies built products. This one built proof that forever was possible. And it did it all from one small town in the mountains, one click at a time.